So Phil, tell us what you know about this Sheep Creek Mine project. What's going on?
There's a mining company with origins in Canada that's proposing to put a rare earth element mine in the headwaters of the Bitterroot. And the concern is that the mine would pollute the river and take a lot of water away from the river that we need for our fisheries and agriculture in the valley.
And what kind of mine are we looking at?
The kind of mining it's a hard rock mine, which means that the elements that would be extracted are in rocks and typically the hard rock mines, and in this case the elements neodymium and praseodymium are referred to as rare earth elements. So extracting the rare earth elements in most all big rare earth element mines are open pit mines. And open pit mines are surface mines. A lot of us are familiar in the area with open pit mines from driving past Butte, Montana, and seeing like the Berkeley pit,
yeah,
and the Continental pit. So there's a lot of disturbance just from building a pit mine. And the elements that are found in this place are also found along with some worrying other elements, arsenic and lead, and in this case thorium and uranium. And the thorium and uranium are radioactive elements.
Now, I can imagine the company the company getting investment for this mining operation. They're probably going to put out a pamphlet that says that they'll be able to do it without damage. Is it hard to say beforehand how much damage such a mine will cause, or do we have, like, what's the track record for such mines in cases like this?
Rare earth element mines are typically very damaging to their local environment, and all rare earth element mines have destroyed their local environments. This kind of mining requires a lot of water, and it also produces a lot of toxic waste. And so water contamination problems frequently occur with rare earth element mining, and the disposal of toxic and radioactive waste is another problem. And in Montana, since 1980, there's only been 12 hard rock mines permitted, and 11 out of those 12 mines have had unanticipated problems with contaminating water. So Montana's track record is it doesn't give anybody much encouragement or reason to think that this kind of mining can be done safely. The hard rock mining becomes more difficult and more dangerous in rugged terrain and where there's a lot of precipitation, in this case snow. So if you can imagine any sort of big surface disturbance where it's steep and it gets a lot of snow, anything that's exposed or spilled during the mining process is going to wash into our river. And this mine is near the headwaters of the West Fork of the Bitterroot, is it not? Yes. So if we're talking about rugged terrain and a lot of snow, this is the spot. Yeah, last year the area got about 25 feet of snow, and the accumulations, the snowpacks, about 7 feet deep. So you're talking about an area that's also very cold in the winter, and there's rare earth element processing requires miles and miles of pipes, and the pipes will have the processing chemicals in them. We don't know yet what processing will take place at the mine, but the concern is that things leak, pipes break, but they're more likely to leak and break when the temperature's 30 degrees below zero. Right. Now, I think just with what you've said, the listeners can kind of form their own opinion about whether such a mine would pollute our river. Now, what about getting the water? Do we have even enough water to use in this product, in this project? The Bitterroot River is referred to as an over-allocated river. The river has not always flowed all the way to where it meets the confluence with the Clark Fork. In the summers, it would go dry sometimes. And that's because there's more irrigation rights to the water than there is water. The irrigators that have the right to run the river dry many times over, but they don't. And the cooperation that it's taken to have this wonderful river that we have can't be overstated. I might need to say that again, but
so you could say that there's a real fine line about allocating where this water goes, and we are already under the amount that each particular group wants and needs.
The river supports $40 million of agricultural productivity every year, and the tourism economy in the Bitterroot is worth over $100 million every year. All of that depends on the water in this river. And the irrigators and fisheries interests have done a fantastic job of cooperating to be able to have this river. And there's no water to spare. Any water that would be used by this mine, and this kind of mining takes millions and millions of gallons of water a year, is water that won't be available for other sources. And that's even if it isn't polluted with salts or arsenic and lead.
Yes, this valley, these mountains and our streams and our main river, they have a certain reputation. Wasn't the Bitterroot River once rated one of the best rivers in the country to fish, and wasn't it rated one of the cleanest rivers near a major population center? I mean, this would have a big hit on just the reputation of the river.
Yeah, the Bitterroot River has a very productive trout fishery, which draws fishermen from all over the world, and that's really one of the bases of the Bitterroot's economy.
Right.
And any threat to that, to the river, is a threat to the economy, the tourism-based economy of the Bitterroot.
And what would you say about people who might accuse you of just being a NIMBY? And, well, look, we need these minerals, we need these rare earth minerals for our electric cars that are coming around the bend. And we're competing with China, and somehow we have to get these elements.
I feel like it's a concession to the to the mining company to even call them rare earth elements. They aren't rare. They're a group of elements that once were thought to be rare. They're hard to purify, but they occur all over the place. And Montana is well positioned to plug into a national initiative to develop a rare earth element economy. We have great rare earth element resources here. These elements can be gotten from abandoned mines. There's reserves of the same materials that the company wants to mine, especially around Butte, and there's an active where rare earth elements are being actively extracted and extracted for processing now. There's a lot of great work going on in Montana to extract rare earth elements from abandoned mines, acid mine drainage, and from coal mine waste. Mm-hmm. The Department of Defense and Department of Energy have invested millions of dollars into Montana to get rare earth elements in a more environmentally sustainable and cleaner way. In fact, rare earth elements are being extracted from mine waste now in Montana, and by extracting rare earth elements from some of our most polluted sites, we can subsidize the cleanup of some of the worst places in Montana rather than take some place that's pristine and wonderful and destroy it for a new mine.
Yes, yes, if you can get it from a site that is essentially already destroyed rather than pristine forest, that would seem like a better idea to me.
Yeah, if you can get the stuff from Butte, why would you put a new pit mine in the Bitterroot?
Well, now let's explore that a little. I understand that one of the reasons you would is because the land is so cheap for mining companies. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Under the mining laws of America, the companies can claim lands, make their mining claims for the same prices that they could claim land in 1872, and the laws have never been seriously reformed, and the laws place mineral extraction on public lands above all other uses. In our case, the mining company might get a really good deal,
right,
but it doesn't mean we should let them pollute our river. Our society can get these elements elsewhere, and there's no real clear benefit to Montana that we can see. The company's foreign, the investors are foreign, the profits are going to go elsewhere.
Yes, tell us about how the profits are going elsewhere. This is interesting.
I guess I mean it's speculative to say how they would.
Okay.
But if we know that the major investment in this mine is coming from offshore, places like the Bahamas and the Cayman Islands are what the company's filing their disclosures in Canada's CDAR system.
Which company is it? What is the name of the company? Where are they based?
The company is called U.S. Critical Metals, which is based in Vancouver, Canada. That company created a shell company, which is a flimsy corporate structure that allows them to pass assets through.
I find it a little comical that a company called U.S. Critical Metals is based in
Vancouver, Canada.
Vancouver, Canada. Does the U.S., what does it stand for? United States?
Nobody knows. U.S., us? But
yeah.
If you take a look at their logo, it's red, white, and blue with stars on it. And their materials, they try and conflate our patriotic values with support for their mine. We need domestic sources of rare earth elements, but we also need to get these sources, select wisely where we get the elements. And great places to extract rare earth elements exist, and those are where we should get them.
Mm-hmm.
Great places exist, particularly in abandoned mines and the toxic water that's seeping out of abandoned coal mines and abandoned mines around Montana contain the rare earth elements that we need for our national security and transition to a green economy.
Well, then, to kind of sum up, it looks like if you're from the valley, or you are someone that comes here to enjoy the valley, on balance, it doesn't look like a good idea, because from an economic point, there's no way we could produce enough jobs with this mine to make up for the damage in the economic and agricultural sector. But we could also say at the same time, it doesn't mean we're not going to be mining rare earths, because they're in other places.
Yeah, we have too much to lose here to risk losing our river.
Yep.
And we have to protect this river because it is the lifeblood of our valley. It's our, not just our recreation, it's also the source of our economy. It supports our economy, and we don't have a drop of water to spare for a foreign mine. USCM has not broken any laws, and they have every right to mine in the area that they've claimed. But they don't have a right to pollute our environment. Montanans have a right to clean air and clean water, and those rights are protected in our Constitution. The law will be on our side, and there's various instruments that can help us as long as there's the political will and the will of the local people to make it happen, to make this mine go away. Like we need to fight together, and it needs to be a united effort. If the mining company, and you can see they already start to try to pit right versus left and make this into a political issue. And our clean water isn't a political issue. It's a fundamental need, and it's the underpinning of the economy of our valley.
Yes, and I think it's one of the beautiful things about this this fight, that there's no reason to wonder about what your political nemesis is thinking, because we're all on board on this.
I agree.
Well, Phil, what should people do who want to get involved?
Good place to start would be the website of the Bitterroot Clean Water Alliance.
Mm-hmm.
And you can sign up for the mailing list there and get updates on what's happening. We're expecting within the next year for the company to file for a plan of operations for exploratory drilling. Mm-hmm. And that will trigger a public comment. Mm-hmm. And we really need many people to comment on this and get involved to show that we do not want this mine, that the Bitterroot's united in opposition of the mine. And if you're not from the Bitterroot, even better. This river runs to the Clark Fork, it goes to Missoula, eventually flows to the ocean. It's an area the size of France below us. We need everyone downstream to help protect the clean water that we rely on.
Yes, and given that we are so reliant on tourism here, there would be no element of, well, you're not from here, because precisely you're not from here, but you might think about coming here if the place is clean.
Yeah, you might think about not coming here if the water is yellow and acidic and full of arsenic and lead.
Yes, I might rethink my daily swims in summer in August. Well, Phil, thanks very much for the interview.
Yeah, thank you.
It's been very informative.